Hi, I'm Justin from Production Expert, and today I'm looking at the new UVS-3200 Synth VI from UVI. The UVS-3200 is based on Korg's 48-voice PS-3200 from the late 70s. If the PS-3200 sounds familiar, it's probably because famous users of this synth over the years include film composer Hans Zimmer, prog rock keyboard icon Keith Emerson, and synth music pioneer Jean-Michel Jarre. The real thing is extremely rare, but if you can find one, then it will only cost you about $8,000. Lucky for us, UVI have managed to find a pristine example of the hardware synth to sample. You can pick this virtual instrument up for about $79. Here they've provided over 220 patches of presets so you can start straight away. The synth is based around two oscillators which can be manipulated, affected and arpeggiated separately, all within the free UVI workstation environment. Let's take a quick look at the interface pages. The main page gives you the core oscillator choices, 24 sounds for oscillator 1 and 69 sounds for oscillator 2. Here you switch between oscillator 1 and 2 to control volume, pan, ADSR and a very nice sounding filter. The edit page gives us some very interesting control over stereo function, some potentially wild portamento, and tuning options which go from subtle to 9-inch nails. Plus 3 simultaneous mod wheel options. The modulation page increases your sonic manipulation options even further with step modulation and an LFO with 4 waveform choices, plus an option to sync the LFO to tempo, which is nice. The effects page features drive, chorus, phaser, delay and reverb, which all sound really nice with this synth, and just blend brilliantly, even with the most rudimentary raw material, as we'll see. And finally, what might be the standout feature for me, the arpeggiators page features 2 independently controllable arpeggiators. You can get some amazing motion and interest going in this section with the most rudimentary raw material, as we'll see. So let's take a listen to what the UVS-3200 can actually do. I'm going to play you the track that I prepared earlier. Now the drums are battery drums, just to give it a spine. So let's listen to the bass line first. Now, the key thing about this bass line is that it's all about these arpeggiators. Because when we take them out, it's just a flat note. I'll just pop them back on. There we go. It's really given us some motion, and if I just... Okay, so there's oscillator 1, giving us a good driving bass, and then you've got oscillator 2, which is doing something entirely different, with lots of stereo affecting going on. Let's take a look at oscillator 2. Here we go, we're using the alt stereo mode, which basically sends each subsequent note to the opposite side of the stereo pan. Okay. So again, here's a pad that I made, partly based on one of the presets. What I've done with all of these sounds is take off the effects, just so you can hear the synth dry. So here we've got some filter modulation going on oscillator 2, and on oscillator 1, again, the arpeggiator. It's just fantastic. Lots of motion. Okay, so another sound. Just wait for it to come round. Again, the arpeggiator. Let's have a listen to some of the effects. Oh, I do have a little bit of drive on this, to be fair. Let's see what we can do with that. Wrong sound. Even all the way up, that does sound really nice. Gnarly, some might say. Delay sounds lovely. And the reverb's really nice reverb. Just fits this synth really well. So if I leave those on, let's play the whole track. And there you have it. Very big sound considering we're only using 4 patches. In conclusion, I have to say that this instrument is an absolute peach. Right out of the box, I've been finding lots of inspiration with just the presets. But the real fun comes when you start to delve into a bit of creative programming. The separate arpeggiator for each oscillator is tons of fun. Like so many of us, my hard drive is groaning with options when it comes to VI synths. And like anyone, I have favourites and go-to options for certain jobs. This synth is now very high on that list. From the outset, the UVS-3200 feels like an instrument that wants to be played, meaning that it has a very rounded sound, very analogue, very warm. The set of oscillators available is incredibly useful, and when you're playing with the arpeggiator, maybe set an alarm so you remember to stop occasionally and get some sleep. All in all, I'm loving this synth and it's already finding its way into a lot of my commercial tracks. I've been Justin from Production Expert. See you next time.